Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing this week? Hey, it's Mike Morowski, and this is the Mike Drop Show, where we talk about real estate, real deals, real freedom, and real results. I'm your host, Mike Morowski, educator, your favorite sourcing cash flow obsessed guide through the wild world of multifamily real estate. From interviews with eight-figure investors, where we break down deals, capital raising strategies, and war stories right from the field. This is your show for professionals who want to go from your paycheck to portfolios. So if that's you and you're feeling that energy this morning, do me a favor. Subscribe to this episode, subscribe to this show, like us, love us on social media. Now, if you have a question or a comment, drop it in the chat or DM me directly. If you know somebody who'd be a great guest on this show, let us know because we're going to start interviewing people here shortly. You know what? We go live every Wednesday morning. So this is your weekly wealth workout. All right, let's jump right into it here this morning. So I have three questions from listeners over the last week. And it's been interesting since we've started doing this show, the more questions that people have been coming up with. And I really find it uh, amazing that there are so many questions. One of the things that I've really found interesting lately is that we operate in this small world of multifamily real estate, and it is kind of a small world. But when you start to talk to people about investing in real estate, so if you're a capital raiser or you're doing syndications and you're raising capital, our biggest goal is to go out and meet investors and have investors join us and partner with us, right? So it's been interesting to me that as I diversify from just this community of real estate investors out into the medical field or into the engineering field or into the IT field, the amount of people that don't know that you can invest in real estate this way through syndications. I had somebody say to me last week, an investor I had on the phone, somebody I met at a medical event, and he said to me, he said, you know, I always thought I needed hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in real estate. And, that's simply just not the case. So, you know what? I just encourage you to go out and talk to more people, give more exposure to who you are, what you're doing, and how you're growing your business and your portfolio. So let me jump into a couple questions here. But question one is, do you think it could be worth it to invest as an LP in another group's deal first to have a hands-on approach to investor relations structures and the analytics? So, I'm in the coaching business and I work with a lot of people in coaching. And one thing I can tell you is I am not a huge advocate of 30, 40, $50,000 coaching programs. First of all, I think if you have that kind of money to invest in a coaching program, that what you should do is you should take some of that money, invest as a passive investor, as an LP into a syndication deal, whether it be multifamily, whether it be industrial, whatever asset class you want to really venture into, and learn from that side of the spectrum. See, I think there's a couple of sides here that you learn from. You learn from being an active investor, and you learn from being a passive investor. As a passive investor, it's a unique opportunity for you to join asset management calls. If you invest in our group as a passive investor, we invite our investors, come sit in on an asset management call, learn the 13 to 15 things that we talk about on a weekly basis, how we look at the numbers and the occupancy and things like that, but learn from the perspective of being a passive investor. That really gives you an edge up on going forward and then being a GP. So yes, the short answer to it is yes, definitely invest in other LP syndications. And then if you are an active investor and you are doing your own deals, diversify a little. Diversify and take some of the profits that you're pulling off the table and put them into another syndication, put them into some other operators' operations. And maybe if you're a multifamily guy, you go do a little self storage as a passive investor, or maybe you go do a light industrial deal as a passive investor. So there's all kinds of opportunities out there for you. You know, that's really one thing that I love about real estate is the fact that it's not just one size fits all, but it's that there's multiple opportunities out there for you to take advantage of real estate investing. So as I was mentioning, when I started answering this question, those 30, 40, $50,000 programs, um, you know, are they overrated? I don't know if they're overrated. I think, you're going to do what you want to do, and you're going to go to the teacher that shows up in your life that's going to bring you the best knowledge and information. I've been in the business 30 years. I've seen a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I've had some tough times along the way, and I've learned a lot from the mistakes along the way. And you know what? This is a business you continue to learn in. So you'll find somebody to connect with, to meet with, that is going to best serve you. I love the saying that when the student's ready, the teacher appears, right? So the second question, and I got this from a listener that was on last week, and they DM'd me during the week, and we had a great conversation. But they asked, how do you structure a co-GP partnership where one person is boots on the ground? Well, it's interesting. We don't always have one of our partners as boots on the ground. I'm in a partnership that, my key partner lives in Central Illinois. I live in Southern California. We do everything virtually. We do everything online. I'm the guy, though, that goes to the property, that walks the deals, that goes back, does inspections. But we have boots on the ground as far as property managers, as far as our leasing agent and community managers and maintenance people. And then we asset manage. See, I think today deals are made and broken at the asset management level. And the better you can get at that, the more you're going to operate a deal properly, because you have to stay in tune with all the numbers. And there's 13 things every week that we jump on the phone and we're discussing with our property management team, and we're pushing the envelope. We're setting goals week to week, and we're accomplishing goals. And every time we set a goal and hold somebody accountable, it pushes the envelope forward. So, you don't always have to have boots on the ground. It helps in some cases. Maybe you are buying property in Florida, and you have somebody who lives in Florida who's on your team. That works great. But maybe you don't. I'm in one partnership where my partner and I, we have partners that live in Arizona. We have partners that live in Florida. We have partners that live in northern Wisconsin. So we're in multiple partnerships with people all over the country. And actually, most of those people come from my partnership coaching program. So I like to work with people, teach them how to fish, and then help them catch that fish. So we wind up partnering with them on their first, second deal, and maybe even more than that. So, you know, teams today, partnerships today don't have to be just one size fits all. They can be multiple sizes. And then the third question this week, and this came from somebody else I had a great conversation with over the week who wanted to, wasn't sure should they invest passively or should they invest actively, and really wanted to get some education. Decided really to join my coaching program, and I'm working with them on an individual basis. But how much equity should I give up to a partner if they're bringing all the money? Great, great question. So, when we look at our partnerships that we put together, and we look at a syndication. So, a typical syndication is generally a 70-30 split, right? That's kind of the baseline how you put a syndication together. 70% lion's share goes to the LPs, 30% goes to the GPs. Now, the question becomes, what do you do with that 30%? How do you break it up for a KP? Maybe you have to have a key principal, somebody who comes in and actually signs on the loan with you because you don't have enough experience on the first deal, because you don't have enough net worth, right? And those are a couple things that banks look for when you're getting your first deal done or your second deal done. You might have somebody who brings earnest money and at-risk money to a deal. And so you're going to carve a little piece of that 30% out. What I always tell people, I say you have to look at that 30% side of a syndication as 100%. And that 100% gives you um, uh, where you split that up. So we may give a KP 15% for signing. We may give somebody with earnest money a little bit for signing. Somebody who does underwriting and acquisition, somebody who does compliance, right? So there's moving parts inside that GP part that keeps the deal flowing and keeps the operations going. So, hey, if you want more information on that, you know what, DM me. Let's have a conversation around it. See if, my structure might not work for you, but it's just another idea, right? There's different ways of doing this. So I say, hey, take a look at different sponsors, the different way people structure their deals, set things up, and see what size fits you the best and how that could work for you. So, hey, that's it for questions this week. Listen, if you have questions, don't hesitate to throw them in the chat, DM me. We'll get them answered on the next show or the next couple shows. We're going to start having some great guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. If you know anybody who'd be a great guest, I love to interview people and have that conversation around multifamily, right? This show is really focused on your education, helping you grow, helping you build your portfolio, and leave your W-2 if that's what you're looking to do. A couple things I just want to let you know about. Hey, if you're in Vegas, and tonight we have our monthly meetup in Vegas. It's at the Parkway Tavern, Decatur. It's over on Flamingo and Decatur. And have a great guest speaker tonight, Karen Hall. Karen Hall's a longtime friend of mine. She's going to be speaking about self-directed IRAs, how you can create wealth using your self-directed IRA and build that generational wealth for yourself. So if you're in the Vegas area, you can come out 6 o'clock tonight, Parkway Tavern. Join us. We usually have a great turnout, but talk about good networking, right? And meeting people. So come on out tonight. Love to see you tonight. Mark your calendars, October 16th and 17th. It will be my annual multifamily summit. Watch your email, watch some of the social media that'll be coming up, but we're going to be starting to do a soft launch and an early bird special. So if you're somebody who's thinking about coming to the summit, it's my annual 2-day event. This is the 6th year we were doing it. We do it virtually. I'll have over 20 speakers. I have some really great speakers this year. Hunter Thompson's going to be a keynote. We're going to have Forrest Corral, who's going to be hosting a panel of high performance operators, owner operators. We're going to have Ashley Wilson, who's going to be on talking about asset management. So I have a host of speakers. We have a lineup, like I said, 20 people over 2 days, back to back. No lunch breaks. We're going to work through from 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Be there. Learn what you need to learn. If you can only come for a little bit, it'll be recorded, and if you're a VIP, you'll be able to get access to that recording. We look forward to seeing you in October. So that's a wrap for today's show, though. This episode of the Mic Drop Show, I hope you're walking away with a nugget or two. I know I really gave a couple out there. And if you can, go back and listen to this again, listen to some of those tips. I always say that the more you listen to a podcast, the more times you listen to one of these recordings, the more nuggets you're going to pick up. But this can be your blueprint for a shift in your business, right? A strategic shift in your business. Listen, wealth doesn't just happen by accident. It happens by design, and it happens by action. So whether you're just getting started or scaling up or leveling out your business, keep showing up. The more you show up, the more you're going to get. The more you're going to get, the more you're going to give, right? And ultimately, I think that's what we'd all like to do, is be able to give away. If this episode gave you some value, do me a solid this morning, would you? Would you hit the follow button, the subscribe button? Would you subscribe to our Multifamily Unplugged channel? Share this with somebody else, right? Let them know what you got out of it. Somebody else who's looking to jump in, build a portfolio. And if you've got questions, if you've got topics, you know what? DM me this week. Let me know. I'll get them answered for you. So remember, same time, same energy next week. But until then, stay focused, stay cash flowing, and keep stacking those doors and those deals. We'll see you next week.